Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleges, honorable guests, and dear friends from around the globe, good morning. I warmly welcome you all to the 6th International Multi-Conference on Engineering and Science, or IMCES, at ERC University. Today is a beautiful day, and it's indeed an honor to have all of you gather here, by physically and virtually, to share knowledge and inspiration. This 3 days conference is filled with various intriguing sessions, exciting virtual programs, and opportunity to interact with the pioneers in engineering and science. Each day has been planned to enrich your experience and to ensure you take home knowledge and experiences that last a lifetime. Let's commence our first day with the inaugural speech and keynotes, and it is my privilege to invite to the podium our esteemed General Chairs, Dr. Umi Aziza Rahmawati, the Dean of Faculty Information Technology. We look forward to her words and wisdom to guide us through his journeys of knowledge. Dr. Umi, please come to the podium.
Thank you, Pak Fatur. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for coming. Dr. Gita. Good morning, Dr. Biswajet. Mas Anggi from ITS, and also faculty member of Faculty of Information Technology, Universitas Yarsi, and student also from Faculty of Information Technology, Universitas Yarsi. I'd like to say thank you to committee also preparing all this event, and actually this is the second time we met. But about IMCES, the first time we met in Malaysia when we had RTCSE at that time, and I thought Mas Anggi that Indian people is very hard worker because when I was in Bangalore, I saw almost every week you have IEEE conference, right? In every university, everywhere, but it's almost every week I found announcement about IEEE conference, and maybe it's different with us in Indonesia. Usually we have to prepare everything perfectly. That's why sometimes we don't have time to prepare like international conference or others. Last week we have Pragma meeting, but Pragma is community in Asia Pacific that provide cyber infrastructure. So it's not for public actually, but it's limited to only the member. And hopefully this is not the last time you will ask us and collaborating with us to host an international conference, because I know that in India, like Scopus Journal and other paper is much more than we have in Indonesia. Actually, for faculty member, it's very important to have publication in Scopus and also Web of Science, and I think we can collaborate in that area also. And I know that Biswajat sir is very productive. he can write a paper only in a week, maybe, or maybe in a night. You please invite us to join with you. And also for the book, we will support our faculty member if the faculty member will publish a book. So maybe we can broaden the networking, not only for the conference and and other area. And also maybe for the with Jain University especially, with like student internship or student exchange, I think it's be better for the student also and also for the faculty member. Thank you very much, and hopefully you can enjoy Jakarta. I know it's the first time for you to visit Indonesia, and after this you will go to Bali and enjoy Indonesia. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Umi, for welcoming speech. Now, we will move to the first keynote speaker. I would like to invite, it's my utmost honor to invite Dr. Gita from Jain University, Bangalore, India. And we were eager to hear her thoughts and insight. Please, Dr. Gita, the time is yours.
Very good morning. Namaste. So it's a pleasure to be here today at Yarsi University. Jain University and Yarsi University, we have already signed an MOU through which, faculty exchange and student exchange are possible. So I thank Professor Ummi for inviting me here for delivering this keynote, and I'm honored to be here today amidst all of you. The topic for today's discussion is on problem solving. So she rightly said it's very important for faculty members to do research and to publish papers. So here, the important topic is problem solving. So, in problem solving, the first step is problem identification. Next slide. So, how to arrive at a research problem? This is where most of us take a lot of time. So these are the few steps for arriving at the problem which we want to solve. Search research databases. So when I say research databases, it could be Scopus, it could be Web of Science. So these are the two major databases. So we are looking at the research databases and we select some keywords. So whatever your topic you want to research on, you select some keywords and you may get almost like 1,000 records. So people have already published. The literature is rich. Then you have to shortlist. So you have to go through the titles and shortlist some around 200 records. You exclude the records based on the title and the abstract evaluation. So just you cannot read all the 1,000 plus records. So eliminate some of them by just looking at the title. But when you look at the complete title or the abstract, you will know whether you wanted to work on that area. Then exclude records based on full text evaluations. Out of those 200 papers, just go through the full text and you can shortlist another 50. And select best based on your problem. So what are the problem you want to solve? So you can identify some 25 papers. So from 1,000 you're shortlisting. Create a summary of your understanding and then find a research gap. So these are the initial steps which we have to follow to identify a research problem. Okay. In computer science, almost 70%, I would say, will fall under any of these type of problems. What kind of problem? So it could be a classification problem, it could be a prediction problem, it could be a clustering problem, optimization, anomaly detection, ranking, recommendation, automation. So majority of your problem will have at least any one of this component. You can take up all the computer science theses that are available in the world and you can start, even that itself will also form a research. So in 2023, how many papers are published under classification, prediction, that itself a good review paper you will get, a critical analysis. Okay. So when you say that I want to work on classification, then it could be binary or it could be multinomial. So when I say binary, it is like good or bad. One good example is spam filtering. Either it is a spam or it is not a spam. So it is binary classification, good or bad, yes or no. Okay? Let me give you another example. You have a mole in your hand or somewhere. You're scared because people say this melanemic cancer, skin cancer. So you want to find out, you do some image processing. Okay, and then you classify whether it is cancerous or not. Again, it is a classification problem. Okay, so multinomial image classification, malware classification. So there are different kinds of malware. So here it is not yes or no. It is not true or false. Here it is, you're classifying them into different malwares. So in such case, you will be using k-nearest neighbor, decision tree, naive Bayes, random forest or gradient boosting. So these are some of the algorithms which we can use for multinomial, but for binary you can use logistic regression, k-nearest neighbor, decision tree or SVM classifier. So depending upon what type of classification you want to do, so you can find out the next step. Then we have prediction. So any scientist would have the intention, so they work with the ambition, okay, I should become a Nobel laureate. Yes or no? Right? Great scientists I'm talking about. So can you predict who is going to be the next Nobel Prize winner? It's very hard, right? We cannot predict it. Okay, can you predict the stock market? So if we can predict the stock market, then you are the billionaire in the world, multi-billion, right? So stock market prediction. So you have some known data. So based on the known data, you want to find out the future, the unknown. You want to find out the unknown. So stock market prediction is one. And I gave you an example. Who is going to be the next Nobel laureate? So you can give this problem to your students. Okay? So let them predict. And you can put it on your website. And if it matches, oh God, Yasin University name will be on the world, on the top of the world, right? So they predicted because of the prediction algorithm. So it's a good problem. So generally these are the two algorithms which are being used. So whenever you want to predict something, you either go for regression or neural networks. So these are the two algorithms that come handy. So the next kind of problem which we are going to talk is the clustering problem. Again, grouping. You want to find out the similarity. Okay, find out the similarity. So you want to categorize your students, category A students, category B students. Category A students who always ask questions. Okay, you have to give them assignments, okay, that can, make them work hard so that their intellectual capacity is, completely used. The other category of students may be slow learners. You give them some easy kind of problem. There may be some moderate students who just do what you give. Okay, so it's a classification. So you're classifying. Okay, I want to conduct placement training for my students. Okay, so we have different kind of companies coming to our university. So like students whom I think can be placed in 20 lakh companies, dream companies. Okay, so there are some mass recruiters with 5 to 6 lakh package. There are some companies in the range of 10 lakh package. And so I have to classify and I have to train the students for the placement. Okay, so it's a clustering problem. I'm just giving you an example. So finding the similarity. So we can use either of this density-based, distributed, centroid, hierarchical. So these are some of the models that are available for solving the clustering problem. I'm sure everybody must have used K-means clustering, which is again a centroid-based. VB-scan, it's density-based. Gaussian, distribution-based. Birch, so it's a wonderful algorithm if it is hierarchical-based. So depending upon the problem, you can use the clustering technique. Then optimization, this is where, so majority of the PhD thesis goes into optimization. Majority. Even after finding a solution, we go for optimization. Okay? So where we want the best solution from all the possible solutions. Example, in a business, what do we want? We want maximum profit. Right? So we want to maximize the profit. Right? Nobody wants to get into losses. So, and in the case of production, we want to minimize the cost. We don't want the cost of production to go up so that we have a huge margin. Okay, so it's maximum problem, maximum or minimum kind of problem, then you go for optimization. So in optimization, is like a combination program. It could be continuous. In combination, in continuous, we have non-linear or linear. So each one there is a branch. And finally, you can end up with any of these types of algorithms. So I will share this presentation with you so you can also look into. So what are the different kind of algorithms for optimization problem? Okay, for optimization problem. So depending upon the category, first we have to categorize. You identify whether your problem is optimization problem or not. Once you identify if your problem is optimization problem, then you find out on which branch it comes. And then you identify the technique that has to be applied. Then we have anomaly detection. So generally in case of intrusion detection, okay, intrusion detection. So cybersecurity is one of the main area of research these days. So intrusion detection, again, for this we have different kind of techniques available. So it could be statistical, it could be spectral, it could be information theoretic, it could be machine learning, it should be streaming. So depending upon the kind of detection which you want to do, again there are several stages, several techniques that are available. So if you say statistical, then again you have to identify whether it is parametric or non-parametric. So if it is parametric, then you have Gaussian, regression or mixture. So if it is non-parametric, we have histogram. Generally people go for histograms. So depending upon, again machine learning. Machine learning you have already, I think we have discussed. So again classification, nearest neighbor, clustering. Again it comes under, even in anomaly detection, we have machine learning coming into picture these days. Ranking, another good example. So can anyone tell me where ranking is used? Institutions are ranked, right? Institutions are ranked. So in India, we have a system called as National Institutional Research Framework. Okay, so there all the universities and colleges, they apply to the ministry, okay, government, Indian government, and then they have some parameters. There are different 5 parameters, and based on that, we are ranked. Okay, so the top 100 universities in India, they have some privilege. Okay, so in the world we have Times Higher Education, we have Quacquarelli-Simons QS ranking. There are different ranking agencies which are ranking the universities. So why do we rank the universities? Why do we rank the universities? What is it? Why should we do it? Okay, so when you say that I am in top 100 in India, so any student who want to apply to any Indian university can see the rank, which is the best university, and then they can apply accordingly. Okay, so it is generally used for admission purpose, and it is also used for research funding. The prestige of the university lies in rank. So, coming to our problem here, establishing some type of priority. One good example is Google ranking. It's a ranking algorithm, deterministic ranking algorithm, which is sorting again, and probabilistic ranking, which is Bayesian ranking. So there are different kinds of ranking algorithms also exist. So I gave you an example of Google. So even the Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, all of them use probabilistic ranking algorithm. Even in gaming theory, it is being used. So ranking is one research area where a lot of focus can be given. Then we have recommendation systems. So many people are working information system. These people, which basically they work on recommendation systems. So again, it is classified into first generation, second generation, and third generation of information filtering system. For example, YouTube or Amazon, very good example for recommendation. So once you see some particular video in YouTube, automatically you get, so many other YouTube. So do you use YouTube here? Yeah. So you use all. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So you get a recommendation. So when you search something on blockchain, so you can see next 10, 15 YouTube videos on blockchain. Okay, so it is recommending to you. So again, if you look at the first generation, it was knowledge based and content based, or collaborative filtering based techniques were used. In the second generation, so we used matrix factorization, web based mining was used, and then personality based on the human behavior. Then in third generation, we have collaborative filtering, and then deep content based. So where we have this deep learning, all those things coming into picture. So these are some of the various recommendation systems which we can use. Then we have the creative automation. So So, creative automation. So these days, we can ask a computer to write a poem for me, right? So generative languages are being there. So asking your computer to write a poem, compose a music, running high volume advertising campaigns. Okay, so this is one of the area where huge, money is being spent for creative automation these days. So in this competitive world, we also have to be very, very creative. So our algorithms have to be, you have to teach, or you have to make your algorithms in such a way they learn on their own. So creative automation plays a great role. Then after all these things, you identify a problem, you pick up any of these techniques and you solve the problems based on the techniques which we discussed. Then finally, we end up with validation. So in the case of validation, you evaluate your solution, compare your results, and if the results are not promising, then again, find an alternative solution. So with these words, I thank you very much for all of you for patience listening. And once again, I thank you, Professor Rumi, for inviting me here. Thank you. Yeah, why not?
I will start and maybe later Other faculty member, please ask, please ask Dr. Kita. Yes, Dr. Gita, I'm maybe as Indonesian, I'm very curious because we have to learn a lot from India, especially about the IT and also about the publication and others. So, can you give us maybe some insight what make India become the most IT country right now in the world, and maybe for publication, a lot of Indian publishers there. And as I said before, that when I was in India, I saw IEEE conference almost every week. What thing that make you very competitive and very productive? Thank you.
It's a very interesting question. See, the first part of the question is how the government is encouraging the IT industry. Okay. How the government is encouraging the IT industry. So we started, it is not just today, we started back, in late 1995 onwards. So it is a hard work of nearly 25 to 30 years. So if I could specify, I would say it was one of our Prime Minister, okay, he dreamt of, India as an IT hub. Okay, so that was a reason, the IT technology was introduced in all the universities, and our IITs and triple ITs, we call this Indian Institute of Technology and triple IT, International Institute of Information Technology. So these were created, and a lot of focus was given to the IT programs. Not only that, there are a lot of private universities in the last 15 years. The last 15 years, many private universities. And the private universities also started investing into IT because they see that there are a lot of opportunities, job opportunities are available in IT. So if you look at our own university, so we have around 4,000 students in our campus. Out of 4,000 students in our campus, 3,200 are IT students. Other core engineering, it's around 800. Okay, so the interest of students to study IT, because they get good job, good salary, that's there. And also, most of them after this COVID, so they have the opportunity to work from home. Okay, so these are all the reasons. So first it is the government initiative, then the industries, many industries started, and we have a lot of tie-ups with US and UK. Okay, and majority of the IT companies, we are into servicing. Okay, so one area which India has to focus is in the area of product development, which we are still, trying to do it. So, but we are good in services. Okay, IT services, but in IT product development, we are into it, but still it will take another 10 years time for us to have, India as a hub for product development. And the second part of your question is related to the publications. Okay, so there is a huge competition among the universities. As I told you, there is an NIRF ranking. Okay, so because of the NIRF ranking, and you have 30% weightage for research. Okay, teaching, learning, your impact and other things, you have 70%, 30% is given only for research. So as a result, there are some, if you consider only universities, there are around 650 universities in India. Apart from that, there are so many other engineering colleges. Okay, so if they want to fill up their seats, everybody, there is a mad rush to come in the top 100. Okay, so when they want to come in top 100, definitely they have to be productive in terms of research. So for doing that, there is always a target given to the faculty members. So minimum 2 papers a faculty has to publish in a year. So that in Scopus. in Scopus or Web of Science. And there are also incentive mechanism in place. So if you publish a paper, you get something. Okay, so it may be in some university they say like there is a cash incentive. In some universities, they say that the top few people, they go abroad for a conference or something like that. So there are different kind of incentives available, and the promotion also. So from assistant to associate, associate to professor. So whenever there is whenever you apply for promotion, your research plays a vital role there. So there is something also called as API score. So academic performance indicator. API, academic performance indicator. So for teaching, learning, for research, your patenting, your the funding which you get. So the conference you attend, for everything there are some points that is decided by the UGC, University Grants Commission, which governs all the universities. So we people have to calculate our API index. Okay, so based on the API index only, the recruitment and the promotions are there. So as a result, what happens, everybody is focused towards research. So that's one part of it. And second thing is why we conduct so many conferences. And we conduct conference in IEEE with respect to computer science. We conduct only with IEEE or ACM, or you can say like there's something called as Elsevier Procedia. So when we publish in those conference proceedings, so they also get indexed in Scopus. Okay, so this is another route. Instead of submitting a paper to journal and you have to wait, it takes a lot of time. So some people, one paper they submit to journal, one definitely they will go and publish in a conference. So through that way also they can enter their research into the Scopus. So that's the reason why we mainly, every university will have 1 or 2 conferences in a year. At Jain, we are going to have an IEEE conference in the month of October 8th to 10th. I'm welcoming all of you. Okay, so we can arrange even a virtual session for all of you here. Okay, so you can submit your paper. Bishwajit, you can share the link and you can submit your paper. So it will be reviewed by 3 reviewers. You can resubmit your paper after, the recommendation. Whatever the suggestion is given, you can implement and then you can resubmit it again. And 31st July is the deadline for submitting the paper. Okay, and it will be published by IEEE, indexed in IEEE Explore, and it will also be indexed in Scopus. So that is a very good conference. We invite you all either physically or virtually. Both is good for us. Yeah. And one more, we are also planning with Springer. So that date and other things is not finalized. We have sent the proposal. Once the proposal is accepted, then we will get back to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, maybe another question from participants, both physically or virtually.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm interested in your presentation, and my question is, how about the university regulation to all the lecturers to publish their papers to Scopus?
How?
About the regulation of the university regulation, the rules.
The rules for publishing a paper?
Yeah, to all the lecturers to publish their paper to Scopus.
Yeah, so every professor, okay, professor, associate or assistant, minimum 2 papers we have to publish in a journal or a conference indexed in Scopus. That is mandatory.
They have to publish.
They have to publish. It is mandatory requirement.
And if they couldn't publish 2 papers?
If they don't publish,
yes,
then their increment will be affected. So we have an yearly appraisal system. Okay, so when we go for yearly appraisal system, so it depends upon the performance of the faculty. That's why I said the API score, academic performance indicator. So how you perform in the class, how you do research, So these are the main two parameters which we take into consideration for appraising a faculty. So accordingly, faculty members are classified into A, B, C. Somebody who is excellent, who has published very good, who has produced good results in his class, so he will get A, so which is equivalent to some amount of money. So it's an annual appraisal system we have. So the increment is based on the output, research output. Also the promotion. So when you want to move from assistant professor to associate to PhD. So definitely you have to have good. So for example, there may be 2 faculty members who have applied for professor. Okay. Somebody has done good research. Somebody who has supervised more PhD students will always be given more weightage. So one thing which you can do is, take the help of your students for publication. So you may not be able to do anything. You may have some idea. So you can give those ideas to your students and let the students, do the experiments and come back to you. Okay, and then you can write a paper along with the students. So that is another good way of doing it. And in our university, we have something called as project-centric learning. Okay, so it is a year-long project which the students do. Every faculty gets 4 or 5 students. Okay, so you give some problem to the student. It could be a group project or 2-3 projects you can give. So let the students do it and then they come back to you. You can guide them and then you can, tweak and then you can, start writing a paper based on that. So along with the student will also help you. So that is the best way. It's a win-win situation. For students also, in their resume, the paper will be there. So when placement company come, they see that, okay, the student is good in research, he is good in writing. So placement company also will look into that. So it's a credit for the students. So they get placed at a higher package. And it is good for our faculty also because, our API score is increased. Yeah, thank you. So, since you are all interested, we can do one thing. We can take some of your student as intern also. Okay? So they can come there for a month or 15 days or whatever. Okay? So we can plan accordingly. We'll give them a project and there could be one mentor from our side, one mentor from YRC. Okay? So we'll give some project, let the students complete it. And then we can have a joint publication. Okay, with the RC University professor, JN University professor, and the student who worked on it. So if we can form a group, so in 1 month we can make like 15-20 papers with the help of students. That's possible.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gita, for such enlightening and inspiring talk. And before we go to the next presenter, I would like to invite Dr. Umi to deliver award placard to the Dr. Gita.
Momento. We probably go to the next speaker. Please, madam. This is from YRC because Thank you very much.
Okay, now we will go to the next session. In virtual participants, we have Rosa Huaraca from Peru. She will deliver a presentation. Please change the screen to the Zoom.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Please wait a moment. We will. Okay. Your
Good day.
presentation. This seems
Good day.
okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much
Okay.
for allowing me to the research article. I'm sorry. ¿Se me escucha? Yes. I am Rosa from the Universidad César Vallejo of Peru. Present search article about my country. Thank you much. A conference, International Multi-Topic Conference in Engineering and Science, Jazz University, Jakarta, Indonesia. Article investigation is psychological impact of sexual abuse in minors and system review. Article Universidad César Vallejo, Lima, Perú. An introduction investigation. The World Health Organization stated that children's sexual abuse correspond to involvement and children in sexual activity that the whole West know. This phenomenon related of social taboo and corresponded to sexual activity between a child and adult. All the children is relatively responsible through a power and child to that in this night. That is very important of the present factor that occur in the family CIS. This study report different families, parents who study away from home for long period of childhood. History of consumption of psychoactive substance abuse as experience of domestic. And method investigation, this study and the PRISMA method taken in according to quality study in system review. We searched the system electoral until December 2020 for its created content in the search topic through search database. We're choosing Scopus, Weapon Site, and Cielo. Considered an article in English, Portuguese, Spanish, and offer of public access for 5 families using institutional MI license for real. And limitation, the search period for 2006 to 22. The search strategy was employed. Continuing with the analysis plan, the SEAT strategy was covering the information was shared. After that, we proceeding with the technique of documentary analysis, which allow to select the article that meet of article study, objective, and instrument, sample, and results. For exclusion of article study, and experimental was the experimental than are not real to the study variable were excluded. Result investigation, the present systematic review that occurred 2022, 20 articles were reported in Scopus and in weapon side in IMCES. After closing the document and evaluation conclusion criteria assembly, under one article was it is estimated of the total cause and children maltreatment report annual about 26% are inclusive from prevalence data vary created in the literature and can range from the alarming indicate that one in the study two children have. And discussion, investigation, the different literature analysis in the research give different positions regarding the impact of children sexual abuse in that sense. Valleto auto and Lillo 2021 considera ingressing cognitive both the sexual abuse after before and of 1.8 and its impact. Consider that the self-esteem of the victim is consequence of the suffering, real and experience of abuse in children. Those suffering with international from children and of adolescents compromises the emotional development of the individual and can work over the years to culminate in depressive condition. And conclusion investigation, we work with investigation considering the shared variables and sexual abuse and children, adolescent, consequence and impact. It is necessary grading professional in the protocol for dealing with cases of abuse and sexual violencia against minor and to develop special intervention protocol at the national level. The hard no study that there will be impact and repression of sexual abuse in minorities. Research will have an interest in can longitude. Relative for in the cause in war country, there is no information which will imply that especially for identificative characteristics as the gaining of aggression, against women and or the member of family environment. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentations. I would like to invite participants to if you they have questions, please.
Muchas gracias por your presentación.
Yo hablo español, me van a disculpar. Me parece que también, no sé si en la sala hablan español. Bueno, mi idioma nativo es el español. No sé si hubiera alguna pregunta. Y si me permiten poder presentar otro artículo que, bueno, había desarrollado mi diapositiva para hacer la exposición. Very much sorry, I Spanish English.
No sorry. We enjoy.
¿Puedo seguir presentando, por favor? Yes. I can continue present. Please confirm.
Sí.
Thank you. This other article title World Performance and Institution Management in Social Program caso estudio en Perú. Their autor Carolina Milagro Ferreira, Juan Julio Espejo Yupanqui, Juan Méndez Vergara y Eduardo Flores. An study en la Universidad César Vallejo, Perú. An introduction investigation in the mid-90s Latin America country implement important change in the social increasing social spending. No? Creating institution to lead up social policy. Two children care and developing programs focus on improving the nutrition. Soportó. Y puedo volver a presentar. Por favor, me ayudan. Ya. Termino de presentar entonces. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Now we will go to the next session. Actually, this was a photo session. I would like to invite all the participants to come to the front of the stage, and we will have a photo session, and after that we will go to the coffee break session. Please come to the front. and gentlemen, we are continuing our session today. And in this session, we have two speakers. The first one is Anggi Febrianto, and the second one is Rohit Kumar. And I would like to invite Mr. Anggi Febrianto to deliver the presentations. Mr. Anggi, the time is yours. Okay. Please, technician, to share the slides.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Good morning, Mr. Biswajat. Good morning, Mr. Kita. Miss Kita. Good morning, Miss Umi, and good morning for all of you. I'm so happy to be here. Today I want to present my paper. The title is Life Cycle Prediction on Heavy Equipment. This is a systematic literature review. Okay, maybe I introduce first. Yeah. 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 Nothing. Yeah. Yeah. You know the. And I'm student now. Okay. This is the content. The first is my journey, abstract introduction, and continue until the conclusion. This is me. Yeah. I'm 32 years old. 33. Yeah. And then my education now is ongoing doctoral program. My work experience in PT United Tractors. This is my journey in research. I many publication in internal United Tractors, and then I have the several publication in national. One paper in national, and then two paper in conference international. This is my abstract. The heavy equipment industry is supporting many job in Indonesia, from the infrastructure, agricultural, mineral mining, and coal mining. So main purpose in this paper is to make a literature review to identify concept and methods to predict the life cycle heavy equipment. The method is to identify concept. The result is a study is present the data analysis from the 7,811 articles, and the conclusion is to provide perspective research conducted. This is the introduction. The first is price goal actually is linear with the selling the heavy equipment. So if a high price goal is high and many units sell in Indonesia. So in the fact, data statistic from the British Petroleum is Indonesia is big two trading coal. Is big two. And then I continue to the research with the three research questions. The first is what are literature review on the life cycle heavy equipment. The second is the research question on the research question, and the third is main result. Why systematic literature review? So I start with the comparison. The first literature systematic literature review, scientific methodological. So in traditional is do not use the scientific methodological research, and the second is agents research team. Traditional is research with a writer, usually a expert. Yeah. And the third is using research protocol. The fourth is research result article is carried out systematically, minimize bias, can be replicated, and synthetic of the result. This is the result protocol. The first is result question, and then the database I using the ScienceDirect. Why ScienceDirect? Because any one paper try compare the Scopus, Web of Science, ScienceDirect, and 10 top 10 of the paper is any in the ScienceDirect. And then the third is search criteria is I using the life cycle prediction on heavy equipment. The year's publication from 2018 until 2023. The language English, and then the fourth is screening. I screening using the key, years, language, subject area, and document type. Inclusion criteria is article systematic letter review method, and selection, and analysis is descriptive analysis and content analysis. 7.8. This is 7 words. Okay, this is many article. If I try search the if I search the title like this, life cycle and prediction, I get the 7,811. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. Confusing. Yeah, love it. Yeah. Okay, this is how to I getting the data. The first I download the data from the ScienceDirect like this. I write down the title, and then the paper published will be shown, and then I download the data from the ScienceDirect, and continue to upload to the post viewer software for the analysis. Elsevier. I have because yeah, my university gave me the yes, maybe on press. Okay, and then this is the output data. Output data from the post viewer, like this. We can see the many results. The first is like contribution per years, and then the contribution per country, and then top 20 keywords, and then contribution by journal. This is any energy journal have the many contribution. And then I'm screening the data from the 743 paper until to 100 paper for to full text screening based on research focus analysis, content, context, and then quality assessment. And then I get the data research like this. This is I try take the research question about the in every paper screening, yeah, the first is like what impact about the life cycle on multi-objective optimization, what impact life cycle cost, building renovation scenario, uh, and etc. And then I get the objective research. This is battery and material is a big one. Yeah, big one is a material. Big two is building and infrastructure. But this is with the heavy equipment is yeah, any connection, yeah, with the heavy equipment like this. And then the data method, I get the big one is about the mathematical modeling. This is the method. Many paper research using the mathematical modeling, and the second is experimental method. This is discussion for research question one. What are some literature on the on life cycle prediction heavy equipment? So actually, from the paper, we get the criteria ownership cost, lifetime value, and prediction life cycle on heavy equipment. Review point is production concentration in engineering. Yeah. Engineering journal, which is to be excited since this field is a responsibility for developing life cycle prediction on heavy equipment. Many research develop new technology, experimenting in laboratory using the prototype and computer simulation. But practical application studies is companies are still rare. It is the research question two about the what this is the research question. This is the main presented focus first on mapping research on ownership cost, lifetime value, and life cycle prediction. We found work related to this title, and then with greater concentration in investment planning. The main of result life cycle prediction is according conduct section 4 also, and then heavy equipment cycle prediction in terms of investment decision making is a very little discussion, yeah, in this literature, or even does not exist. The more accurate the prediction in life cycle on heavy equipment, the greater the opportunity to benefit from heavy equipment investment decision. This will be the next my research from the paper literature review. Okay, the conclusion. The analysis of the review article allow us to conduct the business information transformation in order implant machine in just getting the started. This is the reference, and thank you. Maybe that's all from me, sir, about my paper systematic literature review. Thank you. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Analysis. You just mention the bulleted points
Yeah.
when you're presenting in the slide.
Okay.
You should not write like a paragraph. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Miss Gita. Saya akhiri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Before we go to the next presenter, there is another presenter, Professor Kamrul Hassan from Malaysia. He is in at Zoom now, and I would like to invite him to deliver the presentation.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the floor and opportunity to deliver my speech. Give me a minute. I need to open my slide because I just finished my class and just back to room.
Okay. Thank you. Can you open the camera?
Yes, sure.
Okay. You can start the presentation, Dr. Kartu.
Yes. Sharing. Okay, so my slides are visible there?
Yes.
Okay, so my topic is the blockchain technology and its application. So I am Dr. Muhammad Kamrul Hassan. I am actually working in Faculty of Information Science and Technology, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. And I am head of Computer Communication and Network Technology Lab. So this is something that my publication records. Okay, so now we directly go to our slides today. So before I start, I just want to thanks to the committee and the audience and participants for having this wonderful time, and hopefully this slide will help you. Okay, so now we need to see this tutorial on the blockchain. A blockchain is distributed ledger technology with growing list of records, which is the blocks that are securely linked together via cryptographic hashes. So a blockchain is a decentralized, distributed, and often public and digital ledger consisting of records called blocks that are used to record transactions across many computers. Blockchain is a list of records called blocks that are stored data publicly in a chronological order. The information is encrypted using cryptography to ensure that the privacy of the user is not compromised and data cannot be altered. So it is permanent that if one transaction is done, that the chain cannot be altered. So that is why the blockchain is secure. Each block contains the cryptographic hashes of the previous blocks, a timestamp, and the transaction data, which is the personal, all information is there. And the market tree and data nodes are represented by the leaves. So it is typically managed by the peer-to-peer computer communications with distributed ledger systems. And we apply the conscious algorithms as a protocol to add and validate the new transaction blocks. So as you can see, this is something that the process is that we need to apply the peer-to-peer communication, so that peer-to-peer, you need to request the transaction from one side, and then the communication established via the transaction, broadcast using the P2P network, and the network tunnel should be established between the nodes. And then the validation phase, we can see that the validation transaction can involve the cryptocurrency and contract other records. Okay. So in this case, the user uses the algorithms, okay, to validate the particular, the users and particular transaction story. History. And then the verification phase, we can say the once verified, the transaction is combined with other transactions to create new blocks, data for the ledger. In the confirmation phase, so new blocks is then added to the existing block. In that way, the permanent and unalterable, the transaction is complete. So these five phases or steps are actually a process of a complete blockchain transaction. So this is a very important part of the core part of the blockchain. So we know a little bit on the DLT or the distributed ledger technology. We can see that this is the payment system, okay, and this is centralized ledger. So what we do actually, we maintain the DLT in the blockchain to perform the data storage and connect devices in the network, and with the particular security elements, and of course with the efficiency and accuracy. And centralized databases, in contrast with the distributed DLT, does not require a centralized administrator, and consequently does not have a single point of failure. But in the distributed, the technology, the ledger technology, they may have some problem with the single point failure. Okay, so this is the more detail on the DLT. You can see that the DLT structures can be divided into two categories. In first category, we say the data structure, other one is the permission and accessibility. In the permission, we can use either blockchain, we can use DAG and others. Like in blockchain, we can use the Bitcoin, EOS, and Litecoin. In DAG, we use the IOTA, Byteball, and Nano. And others, we can use the Radix and Poda. And for the permission accessibility, we use the public permissionless, which is the Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoins are established. And the public permission, which is the EOS, Ripple, and Sovereign. And private permissionless, which is the LPO, Holochain, Mononet. Okay, the private permissionless is the Hyperledger or the Coda. So this is something that we done in the previously linked list. Okay, the same thing we do in the blockchain. Okay, the linked list algorithm, the same approach we apply here. Okay, to create the link to establish the distributed digital ledger technology. So they may have three, the approaches like the triangle and hash graph. Okay, to use like as a linked list, as a directed acyclic graph, and the directed acyclic, the hash graph. So what's the difference between the decentralized and distribution blockchain technology? So mainly when you know that centralized, that every node should be independently connected to the center. Okay. But when you talk about distributed, each of the nodes are connected, among, and then they can have their communication, whatever they like. So this is what the distributed. When you talk about the decentralized, each of the body, each of the node is centralized, but when they communicate a particular, the server, particular ledger system, they connect like via one node. So this is what we can decentralized, because this is decentralized, not fully connected network with the other nodes. Okay, so here the features for the four pillar of the blockchains. We use the four pillar, mainly immutability, consciousness, transparency, and robustness. So these four, the pillars are important to establish the blockchain complete, the transaction completion. First, there is no change written in the data, and the inconsist is the way that prevent fraudulent transactions, and the transparency that there is an easy way to information validation, and robustness is something that a single point failure, no single point failure. So it must ensure the the robustness is there. So to do that, it actually has the several features, like it must have the decentralized features, it must have the enhanced security, faster settlement, and also have the the irrevocable and auditable, and then immutable and non-repeatable trust less operation, and then the zero trust operation. You can say that digital ledger, and it must work as a distributed also. And because of this, the blockchain mind has many things. We know that there are some problems. We know we actually, for the digital, especially the Bitcoin is very popular. The digital transactions, digital currency, we are used to on this. It is complex, but we still have some advantages. And of course, any technology has some, the limitations. We see how the blockchain has the lower transaction cost. Because we don't need to issue, the documents. We don't need to depend on the third parties. So the faster processing and the worldwide acceptance. Many of the companies, industries, also banks, they apply these, the digital currencies, especially the blockchain, and it is secure and private, and it can apply the decentralized and increasing the transparency and unparalleled, the transparency and instant accessibility. Whenever we need, we can do that. Absolutely anonymity and permanent ledger and accurate tracking. Supply central, the bank independent. And for the disadvantages, there are few disadvantages, like it is complex technology, it is time dependent, and rises by cost. Why time dependent? Because you need to establish your infrastructure, and then you can manipulate the markets. Okay, and then scalability and cybersecurity is issue. Anyone can hack in between this. Though we claim that this is the blockchain is the top security. But still there is an option, because the studies we have done in recent past, we found that even private blockchain is not secure. So the difficulty to understand and sometimes implementation challenge, and has no physical form that you can claim that, okay, this is the bank or this is the institute. So there are other types of, like, as I said, the public-private concept. So the public concept is something that it is open network, free access, no permission need, and shared ledger, full transparency. And the private blockchain, it is the closed network. Okay, we can say this is distributed network, and then the DLT authority is required, and permission is required. The ledger is shared, okay, and the full transparency is there. So mainly it is a closed network. And then the federal blockchain is something the newest, the era, which is they actually interconnected with this interlinked. Okay, and then the organizations group access on permission and shared ledger. It is mainly used for particular groups or banks or countries domain. They can use this one with the pre-selected nodes. And the hybrid, they can do private in the public, the mix with some sort of restrictions. They can make some access policies. Then they can apply this hybrid. But this one is very popular. The federated one is very popular. So this is something that how it evolves. Okay, we can see that from the first generation of the blockchain, it was Bitcoin, which is we know that Bitcoin or digital currency is going on, but the evolution actually is not here. We are now we're talking about the head graph. It is actually applied already. Okay, applied already, and also not too many, the industries or too many countries, they applied, they implemented and successfully seen that. They combine with the Internet of, the everything. They use the artificial intelligence device. They use the 6G, the communication bandwidth. And they also, can apply in the smart city, the considerations. And it is, of course, that applies the hash graph. And it is a decentralized voice mechanism. But if we talk about the blockchain core, it is also, they adopted the AI, they adopted the Internet of Things, okay? They also applies in the smart grid billing system, especially, the consumer billing system, billing mapping, and the smart metering, the full ecosystem, they already applied in some companies in Europe. And the main fraction is the version from first version to the fourth version. The main dependency is the transaction per second. So when your the evaluation is increased, your TPS is increased, which actually the concern. Because it's the dependency of a lot of technologies, lot of the infrastructures, and the lot of bandwidths are required. So it is the transaction processing time is higher. So how it works actually? Basically, we see that peer-to-peer, but how the peer-to-peer? We can see that a transaction is requested by a node, okay, and then a block that represents the transaction is created immediately. And the second one, the block is sent to every node in the network. So it's like the ring topology, okay? So something like that, and then they apply the node validity. So they apply the validity, and then they actually try to validate the nodes, the transaction, and when they do that, they actually receive the reward from the proof of work. So this concept is something that in the phase of the validation and confirmation, and then the block is added to the existing blockchain. Once they feel that okay, the reward is done, the proof of work is done, then that one is added, which means that the transaction is complete. So the 6 phases need to be maintained for the blockchain, the executions or the one operation. So what are the main components we need? We need the cryptography, we need the consensus mechanisms. That algorithm will determine the transactions in an adversarial environment. May have any, the sort of, the adversarial environment. It should apply this, and then it needs the point-to-point or peer-to-peer networks, and it also has the validity rules. It maintains the ledgers. Okay, the secure blocks in blockchain. How the blocks once our transition is done, so it is in the ledger. So how it's secure means that your information not revealed by other one. So let us see that a blockchain network transition are composed of sequential group of data are packaged together into the blocks, strung together linearly. So Genesis blocks in the name given in the first block of a blockchain network. Okay, so this one which holds the hand record data and the hash of the previous hash and the new hash. So if you all of us already know the hash mechanism, the hash technology. So the main understanding is the hash. Okay. So they use these hash mechanisms, and they apply in comparing with the previous one. They validate with this hash. But then again, they change of the block link from the first ever Genesis block to the current one. Each block is linked to the previous one through a unique metadata. They're creating a secure chain. The links of the blocks to create the chain is where the main blockchain comes from. So this is how they increase. Using the hash, they increase the the number of blocks in the chain. So one transaction complete, one block done, like this. How the cryptographic hash functions or hashing applies in this, the blockchain. Mainly, if we know that hash function process, the data is mapped into a fixed length of value, which is we said the bit. The hashing primarily used for authentication. We know this, but in this digital form, they also use the digital signature, the message authentication codes in other forms of authentication. Okay. But in the blocks, it holds the batches of validity transactions that are hashed and encoded into a markup key, and each block includes the cryptographic hash of the previous block in the blockchain. And also the hash is not encrypted or decrypted. The hash cannot be decrypted because they are not encrypted. The hash is a unique value for the block or transaction that is considered essential as a blockchain management. So how the cryptographic hash function authentication applies here? So you see here this flow. The first certificate information is initiated, and then it verifies by the hash function with the hash value and compare. As we know, the hash main, the technique, the same technique they apply. Okay. So they apply this to compare, and they validate this one as authentication mechanism. Hashing and encryption difference is very basic. You know, the encryption, we use the algorithms like AES, DES, RC4, RSA, you know, but hashing, we use the SHA-2, CRC32 or Whirlpool. You know, it is something that fixed length, and the encryptions are variable, depends on our design. Okay. Hashing and encryption in blockchain, how it actually works. You know, in blockchain, encryption is mainly used to protect the privacy and transaction information. On the other hand, the hashing is used to protect the block in a blockchain. So two purposes are different. We apply both, but the purpose are different. Since hash generated a unique signature to a transitional block, it acts as a unique fingerprint of the transitional block. So the hash is something to authenticate. So a simple structure of a block, it has the data, it has the hash and the previous hash block. So depending on this theorem, we actually create this hash block, I mean the blocks, and we connect with the previous hash and blocks. And this is how these chain are, you know, the authenticated and connected together. This is more structured, like it has the timestamp, it has the norms, it has the Merkle code, and it has the some difficulties like some blockchain cryptographic systems such as Bitcoin has mining process where the algorithm regulates how difficult it is and miner, you know, the mine create blocks, and mainly the difficulty is known as mining difficulties. The timestamp is important because the time it is initiated and the time it is stored. So these two are actually mapped together in the blocks. A little bit about the Merkle code. It also, you know, the contains the single hash that can validate the single, you know, the transaction hash in the block. And it enables the network user to check whether the transaction was included in the block, and the Merkle code guarantees the security and integrity of the data block transferred to the peer-to-peer networks.
Dr. My question is, when you are taking this single hash function, suppose the hash function, another hash function results in the same block reference.
I'm not finished yet, doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
After finish, okay, thank you.
So the layers of blockchain, they also have the layers like IoT, we have Internet of Medical Things, OSI, TCP/IP. This one also have the layers, the same concept. We have the hardware infrastructure layer, we have the data layer, network layer, consensus layer, and also have the application and presentation layer. So in the data link layer, which is the data layer, we apply this, you know, the digital signature, hash, Merkle tree, and transactions. Network layer only the peer-to-peer connection establishment. Okay. The consciousness layer, here is the validity. Question about the validity. So it is the proof of concept. Okay. So the POS, PBFTs, all is done here. And the application layer is just a smart contract, chain code, and the apps. These all applications are here. The consciousness algorithm, they apply this all, you know, the mechanism, the proof of, you know, the history, proof of importance, proof of work, proof of stakes, you know, all this to, you know, the validate, you know, the transitions. This is the more detail on the work. Okay, so how the work has been done. There are several processes. The transaction is requested at the authenticated site, and then the block is representing that the transaction is created. The block is sent to every node, okay, especially the participant in the network, and the nodes are validated. The node validates the transaction, okay, and then the node receives the reward that, okay, the proof of work is done. Typically the cryptocurrency is nearly finished, and the block is added immediately to the existing chain. And then the ledger is updated itself and the transaction is complete. So this is the proof of work. So this is a little bit more on the Bitcoin and other blockchains, how they maintain graphical illustrations. The proof of stake also has some steps. You know, it creates the owner stakes, their negative token in the staking pool. And also, the algorithm pseudocode randomly selects the next validators, and then the select the validators and the proposes the blockchain transactions. Okay, and then other validators verify the approves the transactions. Once this is done, and then the block is added to the existing chain. And this is how the validators can earn the transaction fee. So there are some myths here, the proof of stake and proof of work. Okay, why? Because when you apply the proof of stake, it needs the lower energy. When you have the lower energy, okay, it means that the computational cost and the data communication cost is lower. When you have the higher energy uses, okay, depends largely and minor computational power is needed, and when power is needed, the computational cost, data communication cost is increasing. So these are the main and primary differences. But it also has some other reward like distribution reward, the competition centralized. So they have some different mechanisms, and also they they add the malicious blocks. To introduce the malicious block, hacker would need 51% of computing power. So to to have some sort of the efficiency, and then the reliability. So this is something the NFT is nowadays popular, which is the non-fungible tokens. It is not that popular, but in some countries they already apply this one, NFT, digital communication. They also apply this unique digital identifier that cannot be copied or substituted or subdivided, that recorded in blockchain. That is used to certify ownership and authenticity. So what is the NFT? NFT actually token that unique data that can be stored and tracked on a blockchain and bought or sold. So it is something transaction stories, okay, is there, NFTs. Okay, so this is the Internet of Things, how the blockchain for Internet of Things can happen. Okay, the IoT-enabled devices across the Internet to send the data to private blockchain networks to create the tamper-resistant record shared transaction. Okay, especially when you talk about the medical of things, when you talk about the sensitive or classified information, we can apply this one. We can apply this, the IBM policies, blockchain, the policies, and also we can apply the lightweight blockchain-based network to apply several the applications, especially the resource constrained IoT networks or the health sectors where the lightweight the sensors and data communication are there. Some examples like IoT blockchain on a smart home you can use. Some studies are proposed, but it is something that you need to secure your network, okay, but not to the improvise or not to ensure the some replacement of the memory or the data blocks. Because the blockchain, it has the very limited amount of the cache memory, so that it cannot handle a lot of the memories to capture your digital the images or the videos. Just to ensure your the communication securities you can apply. So I have done one research here. Some other applications related with this, like cloud computing, cloud security, emails. You can use the Bitmail, you can use the Swiftmail, CryptoMail. So these are the applications we already introduced. Okay. Something that how the Industry 4 is adopted the blockchain. So as I told you that the power industry already adopted this one to simplify their billing and the total ecosystem of the customer and the generation story. The historical data. And they provide the confidentiality over the data and integrity and availability using this blockchain. Also, the blockchain can be applied in some others like telecommunications, okay, in the communication layer. Some other, the applications like data center, control center, we can use in data layer, okay, to collect, any sensor data. So this is something hashgraph technology that is a little bit new, the alternative to blockchain. The Hashgraph is also a consensus mechanism, but it is a faster, development, not been, deployed to the industry yet. But the researchers working and focusing to integrate the Hashgraph and blockchain together. But they applied they tried to minimize the total transition time. But then again, they try to show that the proof that the total energy is lower than the required in the previous DLT and blockchain. But it's not been investigated in real time. These are the references of my data. Thank you. So yes, please ask me.
Actually, my question is in hash function dealing, when we refer to blocks, many times the block collision happens. So, how do you handle that block collision reference?
Okay, so you know that every technology they have some the strong point and weak points. Yes, this is one of the weak point. You catch this one. But for that case, we still depend on the previous the block hashes. We try to match with that and we try to hook them in a block ledger. Once the ledger is done, there is no confusion. Before ledger, all is done with the validation phase. So if the validation phase is established nicely, there is no confusion. But in some cases, as I said, that point of failure. If single node failure, in that case only this possibility is there. Only that time. You are in the transaction level, but a node is failed. In that case, it can be happen. Or half of transaction is there, then that can be happening. Before the DLT. Once the DLT is done, it is unalterable.
Any explicit mechanism you have used for handling that kind of thing?
No, not yet. I am not doing research on this. Not specifically here.
Okay.
I still now no interest. I mean, I didn't show any research interest here. My research interest is something that how we secure the private data in healthcare, and I have one application in a project with the power plant, how we can ensure the data from the subscriber to the operation center, and we try to implement our model, and we saw that it is a big data, it's a big data, and it depends on the cloud mechanism, and also a lot of subscribers, like millions of subscribers in the city, or thousands of subscribers, so they have data, all is there. So the blockchain, we efficiently see that we can provide the maximum level of the optimum level of the security. By complete the transition. So this has been I put my the research work, but the others not yet. You can try.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Hassan. We are waiting for your party of top 2% scientists in India as in October. Okay.
Sure. October, yeah. Coming inshallah. Yeah. See you there.
Thank you, Professor Hassan. I'm Dr. Geeta here.
Hi, Dr. Geeta. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. So, would like to collaborate with your research in blockchain. Sure. Yeah, I have also done some work, so I think we can collaborate. So, when you come over here in October, we can discuss in detail.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah. Thank you, the organization, the Indonesian University, this one, the ERC University. I really give my the heartfelt congratulations that successfully arranged second time. This is second time, right? The second time in Indonesia, right?
So it was completely online.
Yeah. So
this is and first physical one, but third total.
Yes, and then of course this all credit goes to the Dr. Vishwajit Pandey and his incredible support on this conference and connect us all together. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for Dr. Kamrul Zaman from UKM Malaysia for the insightful talks. Thank you very much. I think we will move to the next presenter. I would like to invite Mr. Rohit Kumar to deliver his research. Please. Hello. On? Hi. Okay, good morning, everyone. So today we will be discussing our work that I have been doing on wireless distance measurement for Indian Railway. Okay. So basically, if we go for we will be discussing these topics like introduction, objective, literature review, and whatever work we have done so far, result, and what can be done in future. Okay. Okay. So if we talk about Indian Railway, still we are using physical connection network backbone for communication. Okay, so that makes it's really hard if some physical line got break. Okay, all the network connection goes down, and there is no mechanism to track the mobile node when train is moving. Okay, when train is moving, there is no mechanism so that we can track where the train is right now. Okay, so still Indian railways use token ring based system. Basically, one train crosses one station, they pass a token, and then the train has to give that token to the next station. And because of that, a scheduling and scheduling on the tracks is very inefficient. At one time, between two stations, only one train can travel. So that leads to very inefficiency in scheduling, and also there is no mechanism for locating the mobile node in Indian Railway. Okay, so our main work, the objective of the work is to basically locate the mobile locomotive over the track when it is moving. Okay, that would solve our problems like dynamic node discovery plus scheduling on the parallel scheduling on a single track. Okay, so if we check what are the existing mechanisms in right now literature that are available for solving this problem, is there are different mechanisms that can be divided or categorized into three different ways. Okay, so first ways is anchor based method or anchor free method, second is range based method, or third is centralized or distributed method. Okay, so basically what we do in anchor based method, we implant sensors at different locations, and
using various like GPS service and all, we fetch their data. Based on that, we calculate the distance of the mobile node in the network. Okay, and second is a centralized or a distributed mechanism using which there are different sensors which send their locations using beacon points to the central server, and on the central server then we create a global map for all the dynamic moving nodes in the network. Okay, so third methods are range-based or range-free methods. So in basically range-based methods, there are 4 different methods that are being categorized. So first is a time of arrival. So basically there is a hardware implanted to the mobile node, and we send a signal from mobile node. In case of Indian Railway, we can set that transmitter over the locomotive. Okay, so we basically check the time distance of the signal. What is the time distance of the signal? That is from the mobile node to the base station. Based on that, we calculate the distance of the mobile node. Okay, second is signal strength. As we send some signal in open environment, because of the resistance of the environment and obstacles, the signal strength gets reduced. Okay, same for the practical example you can see in your mobile networks. When your mobile is in the range of tower, so you get more signals. As you go far from the tower, it reduces. So basically we check the strength of the signal, what is the strength that we are receiving, and based on that we can calculate the distance of the mobile node from the base station. But the problem with this is this method works fine when it is open environment, but when obstacle comes into the picture, it really varies. Okay, so open environment, that is fine, but in case of areas while train is moving to the city and like in jungles it is fine, but when it is moving to the city, we will get a variable distance strength parameter. Okay, so that won't be suitable for our method. Second is time difference of arrival. Okay, so in this method basically we send two different signals and on different phases. Okay, so by sending two different signal on different phases, that actually eradicate the problem of strength reduction and loss of signal. Okay, and based on that we can calculate the distance of the mobile node in the network. And third is angle of arrival. Okay, so in angle of arrival we basically implant more receivers and we receive the signal from the base station at different angles, and then we using the Pythagoras theorem we triangulate the location of the sender node. Okay, so this is very popular in most of the technologies, but the problem with the angular, the benefit of the angular method is there is no problem with the strength. What is strength? If strength getting reduced or so in that case, if even though strength getting reduced, angle will always be the constant. Okay, so that gives more efficiency in terms of localizing mobile node. Okay, so all these parameters, all these methods have different merits and demerits of their own. So we check what would be the best suitable for our purpose. So if we so in that case we have chosen the time difference of arrival. Okay, so time difference of arrival, we will be sending few signals from our dynamic node in the network, and on base station we will be receiving them and calculating what time it has been taken from dynamic node, that is mobile node, into the network to the base station. Base station is here a railway station. Okay, so basic concept we have taken. Basically we will be sending a signal from locomotive, and the signal will be received to the base station or a railway station. There we can calculate the phase difference that phase a signal has been shifted in the transmission. The longer the distance, the more phase shift. Okay, so the distance can be calculated, the phase difference divided by 180 degree and multiplied by the wavelength of the signal. Okay. Okay, so what we have done in this one, we have used the hardware USRP 2901 that gives us the capability of sending signal, dual band sending on receiving signal together. Okay, so we have used as a software LabVIEW toolkit that provides us the efficiency and the capability to integrate to the driver of the hardware easily, and implementation view is graphical, and so basically it is easy to implement in that case. Okay, so the basic concept we are using in the phase shift, we are sending a sine wave data from locomotive to the base station. Okay, so as I already told you, we are using USRP 2901 as a hardware. Okay, so implementation part we are doing, we are basically there is a sender, that is locomotive center, and the receiver. In that receiver base station, once signal is coming, okay, once signal is coming, we need to extract the parameters of that received signal. So this is the method. Tone extraction is one of the block in LabVIEW that we are using to extract the tone of the signal. So yes, and second is formula node that is available in LabVIEW. So what we can do with formula node, we can give any mathematical computations and MATLAB code in using the formula node in LabVIEW to basically, when the signal will be received, its tone will be extracted, then we calculate the phase shift. After phase shift, we have to calculate the distance using this formula. So here we have to do all the calculation using this formula. Okay, so for modulation purpose, we have been using QPSK modulation for sending the data from sender to receiver. Basically, sender is the dynamic node here, and the receiver is base station. Okay, and this is the transmission block that we have set up in LabVIEW. So basically, if you see, in the transmitter block, a wave is being generated. After that, its tone information, the signal information is being extracted, and it is being shown in the graph that I will show you in the next slide. And then it is being modulated using QPSK modulation technique over the network, over the air, we can say. Okay, and this is the receiver block that we have set up. Okay, in receiver block, this here is the incoming signal that is coming to the receiver station, and we extract the information, tone information, and that tone information is being passed as a calculation block. And here the whatever signal we have received is being shown in the graph form also. Okay, and that after that, after calculating the band spectrum, we can also do the power analysis. Basically, we can calculate the strength of the signal, but we are not calculating the strength and all. We are we are taking the phase shift information, and we are calculating the phase difference here that is being passed to the block of the calculation in formula node, and we are calculating the distance of the node. Okay, so, and this distance of the node we will see. So this is the basically implementation window. So here in lab we have set up this first below. We have set up two different USRPs at the distance of 50 to 100 meters. Basically, we have tested it in top of the two buildings at the distance of 100 meters, and we set up this environment, and so this is a first block, that is a transmitter and a receiver, and based on that, by receiving the signal, we are able to calculate what is the phase difference in here, and this is the waveform of the transmitted signal and the receiving signal. As you can see here, the phase is shifted. Okay, and this is the amplitude graph. Yes, power spectrum graph. So here, after the calculation of these implementation blocks, we are able to calculate the phase difference, and using the phase difference with the given formula, we are able to calculate the distance of the dynamic node that is available. Okay, that gives us now, with the help of this implementation, we are able to schedule track scheduling basically in a more efficient way. We can now do a parallel scheduling for the trains. Okay, so these are few results that we have captured from our hardware setup. Okay, so yes, yeah, so we have tested on 2 different USRPs, and also we have tested at a loopback system. Loopback system is basically like on the same system, as I already told you that our USRP 2901 is having dual band capability of receiving and sending. So loopback testing is also done. Okay, and our system is able to generate the results for 100 to 200 meters. Okay, yeah, so this is now, and in future work we are thinking to implement it with the Karlman filter that would give us more preciseness of the distance in discovery of the mobile node. Okay, so yes, this is us, and these are the references that is being used. Okay, thank you so much. If any question, you can please ask.
Please, any questions?
Is there any question? You can ask. All questions are welcome. Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity and showing of my work. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Okay, please, technician, show the first class. Okay, then I would like to invite the next speaker, Ms. Priyanka. Please, the time is yours.
Hello. Hello. Okay, so my name is Priyanka Boshak, and I am doing PhD from IIT Kharagpur. And my research topic, like I'm doing working in a project for RDSO, Indian Railways. Today I will discuss a part of my research that will be for developing the curve tracing algorithm that closely resemble the human identification of the railway tracks in the images. So to achieve this goal, we propose a method that involves picking a single curve and tracing it throughout the image, and then labeling it and identify all its features, signals, and different types of level crossing. And these features can be then used for generating the signal interlocking plan that can be automatically included without any additional manpower. So today here we are going to discuss these contents. Firstly, we will discuss about the introduction, then the motivation for this study, need for this study, the main methodology, the proposed methods, and some of the results. So, tracing railroad curves from ESP images requires specialized approach as it differs from the conventional curve tracing algorithms. These extracted curves from ESP images need to be classified and labeled to accurately represent all the features, tracks, points, sidings from the images. One of the benefits is that it can be automatically added to the interlocking plan without the need of any manual inputs. One of the main challenges, I will show you the ESP here. One of the main challenges is to extract tracks from this image is that we have several alphanumeric and spurious data which need to be filtered out. Additionally, we know railway tracks are intersecting tracks. So we need to accurately identify each of these tracks and extract them without merging them with each other. Sometimes we know images can be distorted or faded. To handle this kind of faded images, we ensures that the continuity of these extracted tracks and curves are preserved. So this is the ESP image. We can see here there are several tracks, and between two tracks there are joinings. Those are points. There are sidings, and even we can see there are different signals. So each of these features can be extracted automatically without need of any manual input. Here we can see this is a sample image of the curve extraction, that is scanning image extraction. We can see this is the input image, part of the input image, and that is the result. But it includes all the margin and everything like alphanumeric symbols, which we don't need. And it is also not labeled. So we will discuss the motivation behind our study. The signal interlocking plan is a critical document for signal anticipation project in Indian Railways. We then create the SIP from these images. We manually include all the points, sidings, lines, straps, and the other features of these railways into the general layout section of the SIP. Here, we will show here. This is the manually captured signal interlocking plan, where we can see in the right side there are different components. We select it and then draw it. This is one of the disadvantages, because we have to manually select and draw it from the ESP. Like looking at the ESP, we have to draw each and every component, each and every signals, these points, sidings, and everything. So here we will design the algorithm which will automatically do these things. So for our algorithm, it improves the accuracy as it captures it with a high degree of accuracy without any likelihood of errors, and then ensuring that it accurately reflects the layout in the tracks. It gives a greater efficiency as there is no need of any manual input. More comprehensive documentation, because only the relevant information are captured. All the excessive and unnecessary informations are removed. It increases readability, because there are no alphanumeric information in that layout. We are handling also the intersecting curves, because railway tracks are intersecting, and we need to handle those intersecting curves and determine those two tracks are differently labeled. Then we are going to filter some curves, because we know there are in that image plan there are some curves that does not belong to the tracks. So we used to filter it. We will filter it, and then comes the gives us improved data analysis, because as it only saves the necessary information, it is easier to analyze this data. It improves the scalability, because in a large image we can ensure that the system divides it into proper slices, and then for each slice it does this ESP algorithm. So, firstly, in short, we will describe the study methodology. First, we does the image binarization, which involves converting the input image into a binary image. The next step is the line or track extraction. The track or the lines are then extracted, and then the algorithm eliminates all the alphanumeric or superfluous data, and then the line filtering occurs. Here we can see the ESP image is taken, then the image is converted into binary information. We get that output, and from there we extract all the lines and tracks. After that, we eliminate all the alphanumeric informations. Then the line tracking or filtering option, we filter all the necessary lines, tracks, signals, whatever we need. Then we classify it into different lines, and then it converted into SRP. Here we will discuss some of the necessary parameters, that whether the background is white or dark, and the line width, that is here if the line belongs to the same curve of the neighboring segments, we used to determine that also. We will choose a maximum angle difference for which the neighboring line points are allowed during the linking. These are the different specifications of parameters. Now we will come to the elimination of alphanumeric symbols. In order to extract the railway tracks, we need it is important we eliminate all these alphanumeric symbols. One way to accomplish is by using the intensity-based separation, where the objects and features are extracted by separating them based on the intensity values. Then we set a threshold value for which we consider the background as a pixels, and then separate them using intensity values above the threshold. This will allow us to remove any of the irrelevant information that is in the image. Another technique is by using the Gaussian smoothing. It involves convolving the Gaussian filter and reduce the noise and blur of the high frequency components or the unwanted features. In addition, we also find the maximumness that can use to identify the peaks of the image that will allow us to identify the regions of the curve that correspond to those tracks and points. By applying this technique, we eliminate the information from the curve that extract the information of the railway tracks in that curves for further processing. Here we can see in the left, that is the input sample image. We can see a part of the ESP. It have in the left, it have alphanumeric symbols and different types of arrows and different informations of the general layout. But after we have after the algorithm has been implemented, we got the result in the right. We can see there are only the tracks and the points and sidings. Only the filtered out data has been shown. So firstly, we will see how we are going to do this. As we know, curvilinear structures in 2D images plays an important role for computation vision, as they represent important features such as edges, corners, boundaries, etc. These structures can be modeled as curve with the distinctive line profiles to the curve itself. To identify these curves, first we need to find out the curve points. So how we will get to find these curve points? Any pixel is considered as a curve point if the first derivative along the curve's perpendicular direction vanishes within the unit centered within the pixel. By connecting these curve points, then we get the represent these curvilinear structures in the images. We use the Hessian matrix H, which is important, gives important information about the local curvature of the curve. The eigenvectors of this matrix actually represent the direction of the curve's local curvature, and the eigenvalues indicate the magnitude of the local curvature on that direction. Then we find out the eigenvector or eigenvalue with the highest absolute eigenvalue, which determines the direction perpendicular to the curve. Using the eigenvalues of the Hessian matrix, we can also detect the edges and corners. That is, if the eigenvalues have opposite signs, it detects it is an edge. And if the determinant of the Hessian matrix is large, it detects it's a corner. Curve strength also plays an important factor in identifying the curve point detection. Here we are using two orientations for the potential curve directions. Here we will discuss shortly about the nature of the curve. As we here can see, the first is a local minima, where the function is lower than all the minimum points. This is characterized by the first derivative being 0 and the second derivative being positive. So graphically, the local minima appears at the bottom of the valley. Similarly, the local maxima, where all the functions are higher than the nearby points. That means the highest value in the smallest neighborhood around that point. This point is characterized by the first derivative being 0 and second derivative being negative. Similarly, we will consider the saddle point, where the first derivative is 0 and second derivative, that is the eigenvalues, can be both positive and negative. Here we can see this is a zoomed eigenvector section of the image. We have implemented that for further computation. These are the threshold levels or lines of the ESP image, which helps us to create the saliency map for selecting the threshold value for line detection. Now, as we get the curve points, now we start linking it. For that, we have to find the starting point of each curve. So how we will find the starting point of the curve? We can find the starting point of the curve by determining or identifying the pixels that has a maximum second derivative or maximum strength. After that, as we find the starting points, we will then go for searching the neighboring pixels and add them one by one based on the angle difference and the minimum distance difference. To ensure then the curve is traced on the right direction, we will see that the orientation is such that it is turned 90 degree to the direction in which the curve is traversed. That is from left to right, from starting to end. Here we will handle the intersecting curves. I will not go deeply into the algorithm. I will just explain here. So first we will start here with the x1, y1. This is our current point. And then we will look ahead at a distance of L, where the threshold should be beta 0. And we find here several points, green and red. We can see the red points having greater threshold value, so we are not considering that. The green points here, from that we are only considering the minimum, having the minimum threshold value, and we are taking it into the set. From there we will select the most eligible neighboring point as the next point, and thus it will continue selecting the neighboring points for each current point. Here we can see how we had handled the intersecting curves at junctions. In the left, that is the input sample image. In the right, that is the curves with junctions. Here we can see these are intersecting, but still it is labeling at one labeled curve. So here we will see how we will handle the faint out curves. So generally in the image, sometimes due to the distorted image, we can see a track and then there is some faded part and then again it re-emerges. So how we will handle that? We will handle it by computing the inner products with the lines oriented between this angle. So here we can see wherever the point has been declared to be ended due to the faint tracing, we will calculate the average orientation over the last 10 points, and then we will continue on extending the line on the several directions that is permittable. Again, handling disappearing and re-emerging curves, we can see here we use the predicted part over the average orientation over the last few pixels, where we use the similarity difference between the deviation between the orientation of the curve at point S and the average orientation previously extracted, and the difference of the deviation between the strength and of the curve at that point and the average strength of the nearby curve. By combining these two similarity measures, we will find the most suitable curve point. If this curve point is not found, then we terminate this reemergence and declared that curve is has been ended. Here we are finding out the short or the sharp contours. Here we can see these are the one single tracks, but there are several intersections. At the first phase, we can see this curve has been, these are two curves, two tracks, but this has been identified as one, having a sharp turn. So we applied our algorithm, and then we can see in here in the last result, we can see those two tracks has been separated and labeled as two tracks. Then we will handle the zigzag contours. Here in the right, we can see there are several zigzag contours. As we know that railway lines are long and smooth curves, but lines that are different inputs of in the ESP images that are not relevant for our. So to filter this out, we use two types. That is the direction change analysis, where we analyze the direction change for each 3 points, and we are checking if there is an abrupt direction change every time. We consider it as a zigzag contours. And then another is smoothness analysis. Here we can see we are considering these are the high curvature points. So a contour or a line that is having more high curvature points is likely to be a zigzag point. Next, here we can see the abrupt orientation. Here we can see the abrupt orientation having these are the red points that having the abrupt orientation, and this gray are having the high curvature points. This is the one contour or line that has been traced, and here we can see the coordinates. From this information only we can analyze this type of contours, that is zigzag contours, and will filter it out. So how we will work with the large images? So at the first we can see there is a very large image that that could be like very heavy on the machine. So we slice it up into smaller sub images, and for each sub image we are applying this automatic tracing algorithm. For each slice, it generates slice outputs. We handle this for each. In the second step, we can see there is a blue rectangular box. These are the overlap sections. So we overlapped a portion of of each image, so that during the combination of these slices, all these slices having the tracks are been joined. So we will show some results. Here we can see this is the input image. These are the curve points, and those are the linked curve points. So I will show full ESP. This is a Hosepete junction. Here we can see there are different inputs, like there are signals, there are tracks, points, sidings, alphanumeric informations, discount of layout informations we have, but we don't need that. This is the result that I have got. Only the tracks, and all the tracks are been classified as different tracks. This is another. So this is the. This is from the ESP, from RDA. So these are the actual, like present, current. I have all the information. So this is the result. for this Godepesal junction. Okay, so here is the Godepesal junction, and here is the result of that. So I overlaid this my output on the actual input to see the accuracy. So here it is over the actual input. I have overlaid the result. I have done some very interesting case studies. That is, here we can see a part of that track where it is very much faded and like distorted. So even if it is giving results in the right, here we can see there are different faded, like I have drawn some lines so that it will be faded and like, but still it is giving result. And here also the image is distorted, as we can see in the live, the paintbrush, it has been distorted, but still it is giving good results. So for the future work, we are identifying the slices. So for future work, we are reassembling it using proper alignment. Secondly, we are also identifying some other components. Here we can see some other components, that is the sand hump, the points, the signals, main signals. Here we can see in the first data. Main ESP, I have already, yeah, here you can see these are the sand humps, these are the level crossings, these are the platform. So we are also identifying those and include it manually within that output. So we don't need to manually like insert it in the signal interlocking plan. So these are the results, and these are the list of references. Thank you. Any questions, please? With this thing, we need some sensors and all those things which will track how many trains and like a wave platform thing kind of thing, which will show in the line how much it is busier, and with this interlocking plan it could be solved. No, junction will be as an input, file, and it will for railways only. For now, it is customized only for railways, as we need, like roads could be curved and all, but tracks are generally smooth curves. Generally smooth curves. Those have points, and like two tracks having joined with another track line is called point. That point could be identified automatically, and it will be stored as a point. So every time there is a train going through that point to another track line, it would be detected. So using that technique, we can use that. I have applied the direct integration for the first phase, and RDSO is like applying it like simulation and everything for testing purpose. Yeah, for simulating it with the. I am actually doing it with Java environment and different types of libraries and that kind of thing. No, not till now. I have. This is a part of the project. As I have said, this is a very small part. I have information protection by RDSO that I cannot explain here for now. Later we can, after testing and all, everything is done. Later we can discuss on that thing. But testing is already doing on that phase of the project. So. Any more questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. And I think that's a wrap on day one conference. Thank you everyone for joining and participating today. And we have some great discussion and learn a lot of it. Okay, now we will go to the lunch sessions. Thank you very much. Oke, sekarang aja kali ya.